Over the past few years, I've seen countless businesses obsessing over competitors' marketing strategies only to end up destroying their own results in the process. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can start using competitor analysis and doing a competitor audit the right way so that it doesn't negatively impact your results, but it still allows you to keep tabs on the market and, most importantly, understand how you can differentiate yourself and offer a unique proposition to your target audience. So firstly, we need to address the pitfalls to avoid when doing any kind of competitor audit or competitor analysis. I lose count the amount of times I've heard from clients,
this competitor's making Google Ads work, or they're doing incredibly well here.
When I ask them how they know that, they say,
well, they've got way more followers than us. They've got way more likes on their post. I always see their ads.
And do you know how much they're making from those ads?
Well, no, but their company's grown year on year, and they've got way more employees of us. They've just moved into new offices.
Do you know that the growth is coming from a result from the marketing they're doing, or is that coming from referrals and outbound?
Well, I don't know, but I looked in SEMrush as well, and their organic traffic is growing year on year.
Okay, but have you noticed the majority of keywords they're ranking for are for completely irrelevant searches that have no level of commercial intent? And this is the reality of the situation. No matter what signs you might see on the outside or how successful a business looks by their followers, even by their organic growth, even if it's a publicly trading company and you can see their revenue is growing year on year and their employee headcount is growing, you have no idea where that growth is coming from. You have no idea what parts of their marketing are actually working and what aren't. And even if their ads are bringing in new customers, you don't know what the return on ad spend is. It's crazy the amount of people I speak to on a day-to-day basis who are pouring tens, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars on ads each month, and they're losing money on them. This is the reality for most businesses. So don't be fooled into thinking that what your competitors are doing is going to work for you, because it might not even be working for them despite how it looks on the outside. Looks can be deceiving. I've seen this so many times with online courses where there are course creators who are selling a course for maybe £2,000-3,000 and they have these claims of 10,000 courses sold. And when I've then looked into it, when we're doing this competitor analysis, it turns out those thousands of courses they had supposedly sold were actually all sold for £5 on Udemy, and they just recently set up a website and they're now trying to sell it for $3,000. And this is the biggest flaw with competitor analysis, is you never know unless you have worked for that company or have inside information from somebody working within that company. You just do not know how that company's marketing is actually performing and which areas of their marketing are actually leading to their business growth. So you might be asking yourself, well, what can I do then? Well, one of the most powerful things you can do is to do what I call an audience attention audit. In other words, how can we find what our audience are exposed to every day and what they're seeing from competitors, and how can we create a message that stands separate from that to cut through the noise? Because you have to remember, people are exposed to so many marketing messages on a daily basis. Most people get what I call ad fatigue, where whenever they see any form of marketing, whether it be an email campaign, whether it be a billboard, an ad on their Facebook feed, they know what to look for. Their ad alarm goes off in their head almost, and then they just scroll on past it. Our brains are wired to look for patterns so that it can shortcut and skim past certain information so that we don't end up with sensory overload. So this is where you then need to find ways you can go against those patterns. In marketing, we call this a pattern interrupt, to stand out, to grab attention, and to separate yourself from the competition in order to win the attention of your target audience. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to open up the ad libraries across multiple platforms. Pretty much every advertising platform out there will have a public ad library. So Meta has their own ad library for Facebook and Instagram ads. LinkedIn has its own library for B2B ads. TikTok has their own ad library. Google also has the Google Transparency Center where you can type in an advertiser's name, and all of these tools will then show you what ads they are running. You can even search on a lot of these tools by industries as well to find competitors you maybe didn't even know you had. And no, we're not going to just copy what they're doing. Imagine you were that customer who is inundated with all of these ads on a daily basis, and ask yourself honestly, if I was seeing all of these ads on a daily basis and I was being exposed to all of this noise and all these people who are probably saying the same thing, what would I have to see to grab my attention? Start looking for the patterns, the trends amongst all of these competitors, and find ways you can create a polarizing and contrasting message, and therefore separates you from all of your competition. Another thing you can do here in the same vein is to look at your competitors' websites, look at their sign up processes, and ask yourself objectively, again, going through this, how would I feel if I was the customer? Does our website just do all the same things our competitors are doing? And if so, how can we address some things that make us stand out and make us feel unique? We did this on our call booking page, where we looked at most other agencies' book a call page and they literally just had a calendar widget. So instead, I created a personal video that went on that page. We also started gathering reviews and testimonials from people we were speaking to on these discovery calls. So we then actually started publishing those quotes and those testimonials on that page. So we know then when people have got multiple tabs open on their browser, they're looking at all of our competitors, which they inevitably will be. When they see our page, they have so much more confidence and excitement about speaking to us because we've made it look far more attractive and removed those doubts and frictions that people often have about being sold to. Another thing that we did recently is we found that most agencies just weren't talking about price on their website. So we actually created a pricing page on our site, despite all of our pricing and packages being fully customized for each client. What we wanted to do was to at least allow people to budget and know whether they could at least afford our services. So we published from pricing to give people that full transparency. And what we found is that our lead quality improved, but also our lead volume improved, which I wasn't expecting. But I think that just shows how much people appreciate transparency if you're doing something that your competitors just aren't willing to do. So really think about this objectively. Open up your top competitors' sites on your browser, look comparatively across your site and all of your competitors, and ask yourself, what can you do? What can you say to go the extra mile at these key points in the customer journey to really give them the confidence that they are in the right place? What things aren't your competitors saying that you can be saying? You can also do this by using content gap analysis tools on platforms like SEMrush, Ahrefs, SE Ranking, where you can plug in certain keywords and see where your competitors have got specific gaps on certain keywords that they're maybe not ranking for, that you know would be a good keyword to rank for. This is something I see again and again in the organic marketing space and the SEO space, where every company, every marketing team, every SEO agency out there seems to be just blindly following keyword research tools instead of actually using their own gut feeling about what they think customers would be searching for. There are countless blogs I've written on the Elevate website that keyword research tools have said that keyword gets 0 searches a month. And here's what happens. Our competitors all see the same thing, so none of them write about it. Only to find that a couple of weeks later, Google is ranking that position 1, and that blog is bringing us thousands of visits a month. So don't get caught up on worrying if you see a keyword doesn't have 0 searches. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be creating content around it. Because if you genuinely believe, knowing your target audience, that it is something they should be searching for, then you've got a very good chance to start ranking for something that a lot of your competitors are probably missing because they are over relying on using these tools. And a large part of marketing is tapping into that intuition, what you instinctively know or believe your customers would be looking up. What are the concerns you know they have? What are the fears that they have? I once heard a quote that was something along the lines of, the best way to tackle your competitors is to pay them no attention and instead pay your customers all of the attention. Because the reality is, most of these large incumbents out there are so obsessed with what their competitors are doing, they end up taking their eye off of the customer, and as a result, they're just chasing their tails. Whilst then the small disruptive startups who come on the scene and end up taking over are the ones who are obsessed over their customers. Really, the main thing I want you to take from this, if you can do anything, is try to just really put yourself in the shoes of your customers. Now, you might now be asking yourself, well, that's great, Tom, but how do I actually find where our audience are so I can get these kind of insights? Well, in this next video coming up, I'm going to be showing you how to do exactly that. I'll see you there.